we are sort of back. We're not back, but Uniball rundown is back today because it's scheduled release day.
He's
Me
got
and
nothing
SJ are
better to
here.
do.
Nothing better to do. My whole day has been looking at schedules and thinking, "Oh,
So's
that'll be
mine.
pretty."
Same one.
Yeah, yeah. We've got literally nothing better to do on a Friday. How sad. But yeah, don't worry, listen. It's not Dylan and Connor. They're not somewhere. They've not been banished to a new
Back
realm. They've,
already.
I think one's in France and the other is also in France, but not together.
They're together. They've
They're
gone on a quick little spring break together. Both. Well
quick
done.
little spring break.
Here he
So,
is. He's in the comments already.
oh, there, the good old Connor. Where are you, Connor? I know he messaged me this morning. He said he's on a flight. He didn't tell me where he's going. He could just been.
Oh, I can't make it because I'm on holiday. But don't worry, I'll still be in the comment section. Come on, mate.
Yeah, that's it. That's diet and dedication. Oh, he's on his what? He's on his way to
Was he on the
Jamaica.
plane? What?
What? Again, we'll get into the actual business of the episode in a second. Well, okay. So there you go. Connor's on his way to Jamaica, and I believe Dylan's in France. So they've not been sacked. It's just they've got better things to do on a Friday, whilst me and SJ don't. So sort of dive into Uniball, dive into it.
Fixture.
A few big changes before we even look at the fixtures. A few big changes. Obviously, Div 2 Borders is no more. It's gone. Don't even think about it. It's gone. It's not there anymore.
So bad we got rid of it.
Instead, we have got a Scottish league in just Division 1. Just Division 1. So, obviously, the newly named Edinburgh Mavericks. Rest in peace, Predators. They're done. Stirling, who've come down. You've got the Napier Knights. You've got the Aberdeen Bulls. You've got the Heriot Wolverines, who I'm sure are very pleased that everyone else has been promoted around them. And the UWS Pyros, which we'll talk about later. If you haven't heard the news, the UWS Pyros are a Division 1 team now. Unfathomable. So the big one coming out of the Prem South, obviously Cardiff staying up, UEA taking a voluntary relegation. So Cardiff get to potentially have the comeback season of an absolute lifetime. I hope. Be hilarious.
Here we go.
Fun day out with the boys. SJ's Brunel Burners have moved over to the.
We've
gone back.
We've
returned.
to Div 1 South. I'm happy about that. No
Div
more.
1.
No disrespect to the people we're with, but they're so far away. I hated travelling to Chelmsford every year. Chelmsford away. Horrid. Nice place. Journey.
So within the southeast, it's UEA have basically taken up that spot now, and KCL have gone up, and then the Sheffield Hallam Warriors have moved from the north to the Midlands, and I think that's going to create some very, very spicy games. Can't think of anyone else who's moved apart from obviously the relegations and promotions, but you should know who's where by now. Should.
It's the Hallam one's probably the tastiest move. I don't know. There's two couple of big moves. I think the Hallam one and the Brunel one probably shakes it up a bit more.
I think both of those are going to create some great matchups. Brunel, Hertfordshire, even Brunel, Royal Holloway. Holloways have always had a particularly good defense the majority of the time. When the Hallam one was put forth, it seemed as though when Loughborough left the Midlands one, it seemed that Nottingham Trent were basically going to be the winners of that division, not by default, but like Leicester Longhorns, they've just come up. I'll put it this way: the rankings are being written, but I've got uni work to do, and that needs to come first because that's how we live out here. Leicester come up, and I think Leicester will do well. I don't think they're going to come back down, but Warwick are always a contender, but they always seem to fall short. Coventry are hanging on by a thread, and again, I want Coventry to do well, but I think this might be the year for them. And I thought NTU was going to take that, but having Hallam in there as well now is going to be very interesting. Those Hallam NTU games are going to be crispy, absolutely crispy. So let's get into the meat of the matter. Let's have a look at some fixtures. We're not going to go into depth. We're just going to sort of have a pick around. What looks good? What
We're going to
looks
go through one by one. We're here
one by one.
for the whole evening.
So,
Dissect it.
right, here we go. Boom. Look at this beautiful website. Do you like it, ladies and gentlemen? So, week one, sort of the classic. It's 3 Prem games. You know, I think the biggest one out of those is probably Portsmouth versus Brum.
That's my reaction when those schedules came out.
Yeah, you know, week one's week one. You know, it's always the way. You know, we got Callum O'Connor. He's all about it.
Yeah.
Callum,
Who's from? Is that Cardiff? I can't tell.
I was going to say, Callum, who'd you play for? I know it's red, and I know he wears 69, so we know he's an absolute legend. There you go. So, yeah, for me, I think it's Portsmouth versus Birmingham's the game of the week. There, we just do game of the weeks now. It's the game of the week there. You know, Newcastle versus Nottingham will be good. Cardiff versus Pride. I'd love it if Cardiff won. Start the comeback season off right, but.
For them, it's the one where it's gone. Okay, let's see what we can actually do here. I'd hate.
Yeah.
I think a lot of bad luck with injuries last year, and I think that was probably their biggest thing. So
That's
I think there's a lot of people that are going to be sitting there going, you know, they don't deserve to be in the Prem, but I think they'll probably come firing out and be like, yeah, actually do. It's my catch uniform going from to bottom of Div 2.
Can I call Callum? Who do you play for?
ARU.
Mate, I love it. It's like because at Gloucester we've got a few Bristol Aztecs, and they get to float their way back to the fucking bottom of Div 2. Absolute heroes, you know. Again, do that because Prem players in Div 2, hilarious.
Yeah,
he plays for the Siege. Nice. So basically that's week one. You know, it's nothing too special. Like week 2 is basically week 1. Let's get that out of the way now. That's basically what it is. I tell you what, there's one here. Let's just highlight this one right here. I tell you what, the people over at Bucks have got they are top tier comedians for this one. Absolute top tier comedians. UWS, who I think they won a game by walkover against Sunderland last year. They're Div 1, you know. It's just the way of the world up in Scotland, but you know it's a bit like that. And the people, the lovely people at Bucks, have immediately dropped them straight into Sterling, who have just come down from the Prem. So I mean, if UWS pull off the upset, I will eat this hoodie.
I would like to hear from UWS. Like I do hope someone is watching either this or whenever. I do want to know what's going on there. What's the crack basically? Are we trying to compete? Are we thinking, okay, this is a bit tough? What's going on?
Imagine if their SU just turns around and goes, "Oh, here's all the Americans." What? Oh yeah.
They just stacked of Americans.
Yeah, they basically have. Oh, this is an American squad. Yeah. UWS is you know it's 2/3 of the USA, so they're basically all right. We got Loughborough back in the Prem, facing off against Newcastle, and then SGS versus Portsmouth. Interesting for the Prem. You know, I think Leeds going to be very scary this year. Obviously, if you see on social media, they've had like a few coaching changes, including some very long titled coaching additions. Which I mean, you get people on staff. They're just sort of some derby games straight from the off. Jets versus Wolves, always a good game. Watch me do picks now because I'm boring.
James.
Yeah, care. James Collins. Yeah, well, they're a Div 1 side now, James, and I don't know what we can do about it. Let's not turn this into the rundown, slagging off UWS edition. But if it happens, it happens. if it happens, it happens. Southampton versus Bristol, another good one. There, there's
versus Bath. That's the one I'm looking at. That thinking, that's probably the tastiest one.
It's definitely up there. I'd say definitely in Div 1. Killer Bees, big squad, good squad. It'd be interesting to see. I might have a chat with him on Sunday. It'd be interesting to see if Lewis Munt is still there. I imagine that he is. Look like
he's only been there for years, has he not?
I think so. And if you're
transfers now, everyone transfers. This is the NCAA apparently now.
this is it. Is that if Bath still have Lewis, I'm not discounting the rest of the Bath killer bees, but if you've got Lewis Moulton on your squad, it's pretty good. And Bournemouth again, a great team. They're obviously going to be looking to go back to, or at least the finals of the South. Not the finals, but the finals of the South. They'll be looking to go back there, but I'm sure that got a lot of people standing in their way. One thing that I think is interesting, obviously, if you're, in the Midlands too, it was a very tough division last year. Lincoln versus DMU first. Having played for Lincoln for 4 years, DMU was always like a last opponent. It was, I don't really understand why, but it sort of built the rivalry between those two teams. So to have that first, very interesting. And we get the long anticipated return of the Sunderland Spartans. See what they can do this year. Are they going to fold? What are they going to be doing? And
that's horrible to all these teams.
Well, not horrible. I don't know what they're doing.
What's week 3?
What's week 3? Loughborough versus Leeds. Beckett.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's the one.
But then we've also got this in week 3. Bullets Pride, Battle of Bristol. Can SGS pull it off? Who knows?
Is Brum and Cardiff explosion again?
Probably, yeah.
Might be explosion again.
I mean, run it back, because I was there for last year, and Cardiff didn't look that bad. They had glimpses, but then standing on the sideline, I was on the Cardiff sideline, not the Brum sideline. I was told, there's injury central for Cardiff. So very interesting. I imagine Cardiff are going to try and pull that back, but it's going to be interesting to see what Brum can pull off. But I think that's going to be one of the better games. We've obviously got the Div 1 debut of the Heriot Watt Wolverines against now the Mavericks.
If you look at the Beckett one, go back to the Beckett one. The Beckett one's interesting because you've got Lee's new head coach is the former OC for Loughborough.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see what how I don't know who's took over at Loughborough. I don't know if anyone's took over yet, but that's interesting in the sense of how different is the offense going to be on both sides. I want both sides to play. What if it flips? What if Loughborough now run Leeds' old stuff?
Oh, wouldn't it be? It'd be great. They wouldn't see it coming. Hit him with the old wax on, wax off. Done. But I think that game is definitely going to sort of tell in the division, because it seems to be that I'm sure that everyone may be expecting the Prem final to be the three-peat of Golden Bullets, but it's it's always difficult when a team gets a new sort of head coach and then brings other people in. Can Carnegie do it? Obviously, the Bullets game last year they had, which was probably one of the most squeaky bum time games I've ever seen in Britball, but they did it and it was there. So it's doable for them, but it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of react this year. Going into it, obviously, I get to make my 4-hour coach journey to Aberystwyth, which will be great. Nothing against Aberystwyth, but it's just a coach journey. Aberystwyth were a very good team last year, and to play them first. When I saw that draw, I was happy with everything else. But when I saw that first, I was like, "Oh no, not Aberystwyth." But really, everything else in sort of Div 2, nothing looking too good. I'm sure I still find it weird that we look at Div 2 and we see the words Imperial Immortals. It's still weird to me that they've got that they're down. They're down now. It's just it's strange.
We've come a long way from a year ago where we're making 200 bets.
Well, this is it. Is how
he paid up on that bet.
Did he?
That's the remarkable thing. He paid up on the bet and he didn't even play in it.
Hey man, that's a man of honor right there.
That's imperial money.
Imperial money. So in week 3, The big one out the Prem is going to be the Gold versus Carnegie. Yeah, I think Portsmouth. I think Portsmouth. I think Portsmouth versus Cardiff could be very interesting.
To me, like it sounds bad saying that's going to be the relegation battle, because Portsmouth have got a quality coaching staff, good players. Same, Cardiff don't know what they've got, but you've got to look at it and go, they're the two teams that will need to probably get some wins on the board, and that's probably where they're probably going to get their wins from. And that's not putting either team down. That's just, if we look at history.
No, I don't think it's that bad to say. Like, that's exactly what I think as well. Everyone else is sort of strong. I can't see Brum coming down. They've always sort of been that consistent, third place team, formerly second place team. I can't really see Brum having that big of a slide, but I do think it would be between Cardiff and Portsmouth. So, Nathan, you from the Immortals again? It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see you come back. But from what I gather, it's always been numbers. Numbers have always been an issue for the Immortals. No. I'm trying to have a look, see if there's anything. I mean, Sterling versus Harriet Watt, I think is really funny, but that's because I like Dylan. But wouldn't it be really funny to watch him get launched by a former Prem D-line who's angry that he's now in Div 1? Like, come on.
Oh, look at that one there. I've got one there. UEA Essex. That's the derby.
Is it? Oh,
that's the six fingers in one hand derby.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that Essex did win the division last year. I'm sure you're not very happy about it. But they beat your squad twice.
I'm aware that they won the division.
Like, you've got to be like, Essex are probably the favourites to win that div.
It's a big turnaround.
Kent.
A year ago you're saying Essex were favourites to go down, and it looked like that, and then out of nowhere they turned it around.
That's why Uniball's really good, because I didn't have that, and like I would have. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have bet my house on it, but I probably would have put 25 quid on it. Like, so it's nothing too bad. I think it's been interesting to see. Obviously, Kiel Crusaders are back now. Be interesting to see if UClan could pull something off this year. They're always really good at the start of the year, and then stuff just happens for them, and it goes downhill. But it'd be interesting to see what they can do.
There's a lot going on there at the moment. Like, there's a lot coming out of their social media. But then you look at the end of last season, they didn't even finish the season out.
No, so like that's what I'm.
Scholarships and stuff like this. So it's insane. I don't know what's clearly is a great relationship with either the uni or the SU, but it looks like they're on the right track now. Because last year you wanted teams to draw halfway through the season.
Exactly. I wanted to scroll up there just to see when we get to see the Div 1 debut or the Div 1 return of the Liverpool Raptors against the MMU Eagles, and that's week 2 or week 3. Sorry, give me that. I'm looking forward to see what Liverpool can do here. Obviously, moving into week 5, Prem's looking a bit.
It's a quiet Prem week.
It's a quiet Prem week. I just love.
I'm not seeing. Yeah, this week's a bit quieter, but
this one's a bit quieter. It's Leicester versus Hallam will be interesting.
Cambridge ARU. That's it.
Got a lovely derby there. I'm sure this will be the week that Connor hates because LJMU face MMU, and I'm sure that there'll be a meme made.
When's the TikTok bowl?
Well, we'll get onto it, and then obviously we've got the varsity battle in the southwest between Worcester and Gloucestershire. Being another interesting one. I think Solent might win their div this year. Again, the rankings are coming out, but bear with. You've got then week 6. You've got the UWS Pyros versus Stirling again. Love it. Give me more of that. In the Prem again, Loughborough Nottingham's going to be quite good. Raiders
Sunday out.
They set. Yeah, they're going to have a real fun day out. Newcastle versus Durham. That'll be an interesting one. Durham sort of putting out a bit more momentum in the playoffs. Running SGS quite close, but can they keep piling on that momentum?
Leeds and Liverpool.
Leeds, Liverpool, Southampton, Bath. I think will be a good one. Reading versus Brunel, and
I've got bad memory of that place.
Yeah, so do I. It's mad.
I played one game there. It was probably the worst game I think we ever played. And then when we went for the rematch the following year, we get to the game and the pitch is underwater. So I'm still waiting for my revenge on that pitch. And flag. Yes, a flag as well.
Don't get me wrong. Like after covering some of the Oxford Saints games, I've sort of spoke to their QB a bit, Francisco, and he's a lovely guy. But I really am just like, no, I don't like Reading, even though our good friend Rob Smith has passed the border of the Britball landscape and into.
I'm glad you finished that sentence.
I'm not going to say he's passed away. He's passed through the barrier of Britball, and by that I mean he's going to have a season off and then go, no, I'm actually quite a good coach. Then he'll come back and coach for someone else. Am I calling him out on that? Yeah.
Is he taking a break for sure?
I don't know. I think that he could be convinced. Personally, he's not here and he's not watching, but I'm sure if you just ask him nicely, if you give him like a whisper gold, he'll probably come and coach for you. But only a whisper gold. Let's see. Well, pretty slow week for week 6. Nothing too spicy. Yeah, Southampton versus Killer Bee is probably going to be the one to take away from that. Week 7. Portsmouth SGS could potentially be another fun day for Portsmouth. I feel like we're discounting Portsmouth a bit, but I do think you might rather in the relegation battle is probably going to be Cardiff.
It depends on Portsmouth's pitch, because if Portsmouth are playing on the pitch they played on all year gone, that is a home field advantage pitch. That's a proper pitch of like if you played on that pitch, you know how to play on that pitch.
Let's see. You got an Edinburgh Bowl. You've got the Mavericks versus the Napier Knights. Personally, I'm sure this won't be the same for all the Scottish teams. I'm quite happy to see the Napier Knights up in Div 1. They've always been very solid. So, I'm happy to see it. We've got a Liverpool derby as well with the Raptors taking on the Fury. Again,
Hallam
just means
Renegades. That's the big one.
This is probably the game of that week. Hallam versus Renegades. It's difficult to say now, but like I think that's gonna be the title battle for that division. 100%. Feel like I'm discounting a few teams, but well, it's early on, ladies and gentlemen. Early on. Midlands 2, Lincoln versus Nottingham Green. Yeah, personally, I think Nottingham might have that div. Tell me I'm wrong, but yeah.
Where are we at this point? We're only halfway through.
We'll keep going. We've got Brighton Panthers versus Oxford Brooks. Oxford Brooks no longer the Panthers; they're now just Oxford Brooks. There you go. If you're looking through,
are they?
Yeah, they don't have a team name anymore.
They've got the nameless.
Yeah, same with Loughborough. From what I've been told, they're going through a complete rebrand for all the university sports teams. So this year they're unnamed, but then I believe that they'll have a name in the foreseeable future.
So the new Washington, they're just known as Oxford Brooks football team.
Yeah, that's it. Week 8, which will be the last one before the Christmas break. Loughborough Leeds back it again. Birmingham Lions get to have a fun day out with the Bullets, but this time at home. This is the battle of the meme teams, ladies and gentlemen. Not the meme teams because they're both real teams, but
the meme.
The TikTok bowl. It's the whole Sharks versus the LJMU Fury. Personally, I can't wait. We might have. We'll try and get someone from each team's on before that particular game, just because it's funny. Exeter Demons versus Bournemouth. You
There's a
know,
couple of big ones that week.
Exeter did defeat Bournemouth last year, which people were surprised by. But Exeter have always been a solid side. But it'd be interesting to see if they can actually take it this year. You know. Let's see. You know, Imperial Immortals versus Greenwich. Greenwich are always a good side. Well, not always a good side, but then they've always had momentum. Versus Imperial could be an interesting one. You know, could be the winners of that division there. You know, UCL can't really discount UCL. They did quite well last year, made the playoffs. And Bullets Twos versus Gloucestershire. You know, I'm just plugging that. You know, that's just how I roll.
That one, just a quick plug.
No. So in week 9, first week of 2024, we're not going to have any Prem games.
This is the running at this point, isn't it? These 4 weeks.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get a bit spicy for some teams. Let's see, NTU versus Hallam again. Klansmen versus Mavericks. You know, just sort of the 2 staple teams for them there. Interesting. Let's have a look. Yeah, nothing's jumping out to me that week.
It's quieting down, and then I think final week is probably the week where it probably will get spicy again. But
so 28th of Jan, you know, just solid Prem games all round. You know, I think Saints might be able to do something this year. We'd hope so anyway. So yeah, another battle of the meme teams: Hull versus the LJMU Fury, and the Bournemouth Bobcats versus the Exeter Demons. Brunel versus Reading again, all solid games. Then a Cambridge derby, ARU versus Cambridge. Have we not already had that?
Or Cambridge ARU?
No, sorry. We're just going through all the derbies. So, yeah.
Derby.
Yeah. Bullets Twos versus Swansea could be an interesting one. Gladiators versus the Blitz be a
I think
tough
Swansea's
game.
an interesting one, isn't it? Though it's like how far have they slid? Have they slid to rock bottom, or are they hovering above that Div 2, sitting in between?
Well, I'll put it like this: considering that the Swansea Titans are currently a me problem, I'm not willing to say that they've slipped.
No.
That far. Like, if you look at their varsity game with Cardiff, you know, that wasn't too bad for them in terms of like a scoreline. Did they lose? Yes, but it wasn't too bad. Cardiff's still a Prem team. You know, I don't think it's out there on possibility to say that Swansea are probably the favourites to win that division and go back up to Div 1, even after the 2 seasons that they've had. You know, I'm not. You know, they'll be ranked favourably, Swansea. So remember that if you see number 77 for Gloucestershire, just don't hit me very hard. Heriot Watt versus UWS, that'll be a good one. Hopefully, if they make it that far, there you go. Just leave that one there.
Well, Heriot Watt, shocking club.
Well, I tell you what, the president for Heriot Watt, oh my lord,
he's disgraceful.
He's a disgrace, absolute disgrace.
The things he's done. The things he's done.
Honestly, he's disgusting. Like I don't know how that team's going to come about, but Jesus wept. Yeah. So, Killer Bees versus Bobcats again. You know, going down. For me, and this is, you know, we were talking about it. For me, like outside of the Prem, the game here is probably Gloucestershire versus Swansea. Gloucestershire going 5-1 last year, and then Swansea, who've just come down. Think it could be an interesting one. Obviously, we're going quite far into the league at that point. Don't know how each team's record is going to look, but
I think the southeast is an interesting one because you've had UEA come down voluntarily.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to get with Queen Mary? You never know what you're going to get. They're always like.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, it's a division full of teams that all have. I think that's the thing. I think the South in general is strong. this year. I think literally every team has a stake for saying why they would win it. But
Yeah.
I couldn't call that one. I could maybe call the others, but I couldn't call the Southeast.
Well, I'll tell you what, week one of the rundown, you're going to actually have to do it. So strap in.
Brilliant.
I think Kent Falcons, just saying, Kent Falcons are all right. They're pretty good.
They've got a 3G pitch. So they're instantly better than everyone. No cancel.
Oh, yeah, they've won. They've won. There you go. Simple as. So going on to, I believe, the final week.
Is this the final week here?
Yeah. You know, in the Prem, we've got SGS Bullets again. That'll be sort of the one I watch. Obviously, the Gold versus Loughborough as well. We've got a few derbies as well in Edinburgh versus Edinburgh. Heriot Watt get to close out their season with a game against Stirling. Absolutely sensational. We got a Manchester derby between the Tyrants and the Eagles. We got a Liverpool derby between the Fury and the Raptors. We've got a Coventry derby between Warwick and the Jets. Let's see if we've got anything else. Be interesting if we did. Yeah, Hearts Brunel is not a derby. We got an Essex derby, UEA versus Essex. Strange. You've got a Lancaster derby. You've got the Rams versus the Bombers. You've got a York derby in the Centurions versus the Jags. So, yeah.
Sussex and Brighton. That's one. Is that a derby? That kind of is. It kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you go, the one for me is the Hertfordshire Brunel one. Putting that on the final week of the season that's cinema.
You know, that's going to have ramifications right up until the end. I think it's going to be in and out. I think that first game is going to tell the difference, but it wouldn't surprise me if they come back. If the other team comes back, relegation battle.
We're mudded, mate. We got no one left. Everyone's gone.
I got nothing left.
To Canada.
We sent them all off to Canada. My team's good, and we let people expand upon it. Get rid of that angle. Don't need that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is simply what this was. We're just going to quickly go through the schedule, let you know that it's there if you want to have a look. What games are you going to look out for? We're not going to do anything bombastic. We're going to save that until the first week of the season.
We spent on for 2 hours last time.
Well, that's it. Because we'd basically be like, okay, who's going to win this division? Who's going to win this division? We're not going to do that this time. We're going to save that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to save that until the 16th of October.
16th of October?
Yeah.
That's late.
Yeah, I know. It is. I was surprised from where my first game is going to be on the 5th of November. Guy Fawkes, rest in peace. What a guy. It's going to be a long one, but 16th of October is when we will be back. Hopefully, we'll have the full cast with us. We'll have Dylan. We'll have Connor. First week, probably no guests because that'll be a long form one where we just discuss things, discuss who we think is going to win, all that sort of nonsense. Put £5 on it, £10, your house, 100 quid. cheeky
I'm
100
quid.
Quid.
Do that actually. I want to see if we can get anyone to put 100 quid bets on.
Be nice.
In their ability.
Be nice. I might see if I could take the over under wins total for the Blades. I think that'll be the interesting one for me. I'm so awful.
Bet like £1,000 or his house on you winning it all.
yeah. The worst part is about all of that is because I picked the Gold to win the Prem final last year. No chance of getting that T-shirt. Not a chance. Not a chance.
It was a good game because I would say it was a very good game. It could have gone either way. To be fair, that's been the thing with 2 games. Is neither both being quality games of football.
But the big
football's the winner.
The fans are the winner. The fans are the winner. Will I go to the national final this year? Probably.
Will I be there? Depends how well. No, I'm not doing
Oh, one of my two teams won Div 1 last year. Boo.
Did the full John Terry, put the shirt on.
Split the jersey in half. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like that's it. That's what we got for you. We will be back in October. The rankings, they are being written. I won't be able to give you a specific date, but they will be coming out sometime. I'm gonna say maybe mid-August, late August. They are being done, and just so we can get some more fun, I can be hated by some teams, maybe one specific team in the west of Scotland. Who knows?
Do you reckon there's a Tebbs hate club out there somewhere? Not a fan club,
yes.
a hate club.
Yeah, I do.
Dylan's leading it.
That's because Dylan. It just he might have to leave the show just because he made a very poor joke today. So get off. But ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in October for the first Uniball rundown. Rankings are coming out soon. If you're still there, Sunday, 3 games we're live streaming. We've got Solent versus Ipswich in the under-19s. We've got Solent versus the Kent Exiles. And we've got the Bristol Aztecs versus the London Blitz. Best part about that game, winner goes to the playoffs. Playoff implications, that's happening Sunday. I know that Aztecs versus
Warriors.
Blitz kickoff is one.
Oh, please.
Kickoff is at 1 o'clock. So, if you're still there, just grab a cup of tea, have a watch. I'll be there, obviously, because I'll provide my dulcet tones. But thank you very much for joining us. And if you're playing this weekend, good luck. Stay healthy. If you're looking out for Uniball stuff, just keep your head screwed in. It's almost time to begin basically the best sport on earth. It's almost time. From Sport Tank, from me, from SJ, we will see you later. And stay healthy. Simple as.